Issue number 5, atoms versus electrons. I'm Scott Groves with Scott's Thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe, or if you want to read back issues of our newsletter or receive future newsletters to your inbox, just go to scottsthoughts.com, both with an S, Scott's with an S, Thoughts with an S, and subscribe there. So, why are atoms more important than electrons? The following thoughts are from a recent conversation I had with a senior DevOps engineer, Claude coder extraordinaire, and good friend of mine named Mike Lady. If you were reading the newsletter, you would see a picture of me doing jiu-jitsu with Mike. And I said, Mike is also one of my jiu-jitsu coaches. Here he is trying to teach me something on the mat. Spoiler alert, I'm not helping him get up. He's about to pull me into a triangle position and choke me out with his legs. At this moment on the mat, I was understanding this jiu-jitsu move about as well as I understood the beginning of our conversation on atoms versus electrons. For those of you who don't remember high school chemistry or didn't major in electrical engineering at college like my buddy Mike did, let's quickly define these terms. Atom. An atom is the smallest fundamental unit of ordinary matter that retains the chemical properties of an element. Atoms are incredibly small, make up all physical substances, and consist of 3 main subatomic particles, the proton, the neutron, and the nucleus surrounded by electrons, aka atoms are the building block of everything that we see and touch. Electrons. An electron is a stable, negatively charged elementary subatomic particle that orbits the nucleus of an atom. As a fundamental constituent, of matter, it's not composed of smaller particles and carries a charge. As I remember from high school, electrons are the part of the atom that moves around a lot and effectively creates a negative electrical charge, I think. For this conversation, let's just know that electrons are the building blocks of technology. Every electrical system, microchip, and computer fundamentally operates on the flow and control of electrons. And yes, for the nerds that read my newsletter, I know that electrons are part of the atom, but I think you'll get what I'm going at here in a moment. I'm going to use these terms to categorize the difference between us humans, who are atoms, versus computers and technology, which are electrons. My friend, author, and brilliant thinker, Christopher Lochhead, more about him in a future newsletter, describes this a different way when comparing the current societal dynamics at play. He classifies people into 2 categories, analog natives versus those of us that are digital natives. He argues that most people over 40 are analog or in real life first, while many Americans under 35 or 40 are digital natives or value their online life first. As I discussed in issue number 3, How to Combat a Contactless Society, you can go to scottsthoughts.com to check out that newsletter. I talked about how technology companies are making the push to make the human experience and in-person connection a bug, not a feature. Especially when it comes to sales jobs, the financial industry, and the push towards digital-first fintech companies, we humans are just so last century. Human interaction, meeting face-to-face, being out in public, interacting with prospects in person, and doing sales trainings in person are frequently frowned upon in the current business environment in which we find ourselves. I wholeheartedly disagree with this thesis, but many professionals, sales professionals, and the companies who they work for have fallen into this trap. I call it the SaaS Trap, SaaS. The exponential rise in the enterprise value of software as a service businesses over the last few decades has, sadly in my opinion, distorted the strategic focus of sales professionals, sales leaders, and the companies they work for. Consequently, many companies, like the ones that I've worked for in the mortgage and real estate space, have felt compelled to try to replicate this high valuation SaaS model, meaning financial industries that should be face-to-face are trying to compete with businesses that create software. Sales organizations that have traditionally relied on atoms, meaning the human connection, great customer service, long-term relationships, have been pushed towards a more digital-first business model. They think this is helping, but it's probably not. The desire to try to replicate the success of these SaaS companies is rooted in an understandable frustration. Consider a bank or a mortgage company or a real estate brokerage. These are organizations instrumental in helping millions of clients accomplish major life goals like home ownership and financial independence, while they're simultaneously managing employees and complying with extensive government regulation. And the same company that's helping Americans obtain the American dream are valued at less than a software company that allows you to schedule TikTok posts or manage your OnlyFans account. I can see how that would be infuriating for business leaders and create some desire to move your business from atoms, personal connection, to electrons, more and more digital connection and process. Thinking from the perspective of a company who sells financial services, why invest time and money into personal relationships, face-to-face meetings, and invest in your humans when the big winners in business are the companies who have turned everything into an online portal, often with no way to even talk to a human? Trust me, get locked out of your Facebook account or Google account or CRM like I did in December of 2025, and let me know how long it takes for you to get to a human who can actually fix the problem. But recently, there are major cracks in the foundation of these SaaS companies, and I believe we sales professionals need to start reevaluating how we do business. Many of these SaaS companies are having a moment of financial reckoning due to a term called two guys on a beach in Bali. Back to my conversation with Mike Lady, the software developer, the techno nerd, my buddy. He was explaining to me that there is a saying going around the tech bro world called the two guys in Bali dilemma, meaning that if two guys sitting on a beach in Bali having a couple Mai Tais with their laptops can replicate your business model on their computer using AI, you do not have a business. Investors and the stock market know this. Year to date, software as a service businesses have shed about $1 trillion in value. In a 1 week period in March, these SaaS companies lost about $300 billion. Yes, that's billion, $300 billion of market value. You should go back and read that figure again. $1 trillion in stock losses amongst the top 300 to 400 companies that deliver software as a service with some type of reoccurring revenue model. For context, here is a list of a few countries whose entire gross domestic product, GDP, meaning the entire economic output of the country, are under $1 trillion. Turkey, Switzerland, Taiwan, Poland, Sweden, Belgium, Argentina, Norway, Israel, the United Arab Emirates. These are just a few of the countries whose GDP is less than what we saw lost in the US stock market just from the valuation of SaaS companies. The reason for this is simple. AI is creating an environment where two guys on a beach in Bali can rebuild these legacy tech companies in a few weeks while on vacation. Why would you or your company pay $200 a month per person per CRM for something that can be rebuilt in ChatGPT for pennies? Why would you pay $100 a month for a social media scheduling tool when Claude can do it for you? Why would you pay any subscription service for anything if that type of technology can be replicated quicker, easier, and more customizable with AI in under a week? If a new SaaS company does start and strike gold with a specific software or service that adds tremendous value to the business, you and I can probably replicate that exact product in a couple months with Claude code and a couple tens of thousands of dollars. So for us salespeople, financial companies, or the CEO of mortgage companies, I know that there's a couple of you that read this because I see the subscriber list. We should be rightfully scared for our industry if we've been following this model. So what's the solution? Human interaction is the moat around your business. As I've been ruminating on these thoughts for a few years now, I was excited to see GaryVee is finally coming around to my way of thinking. If you don't know GaryVee, he's basically the guy who coined the term day trader of attention. Gary's made a fortune by being an early adopter on trends like e-commerce, YouTube, TikTok, NFTs. So he definitely knows like where the market is heading and what's going on in the public and business zeitgeist. In a recent viral post, which he shared across all of his social platforms, including the business platforms he posts on like LinkedIn, he declared that analog, meaning in person, analog will make a huge comeback over the next 5 years. If you go to scottsthoughts.com, I linked to that post that he was talking about this idea of analog making a big comeback. While GaryVee was specifically talking about in this short video that analog, aka in-person live events, are about to be the hottest trend, he was talking about entertainment venues, meetups, dinner parties, phone-free events. These are likely to be the next big consumer boom. The fact that getting together in person is some type of new hip idea for a younger generation kind of melts my 47-year-old brain, but whatever, at least they're doing it. I also think Gary's thoughts about consumer behavior over the next 5 years extends into our business world as well. There are things I'm observing from my coaching clients, their referral sources, and business owners who employ salespeople that I know that I think are coming true. Salespeople and our clients are going stir crazy working from home. Everybody is zoomed out. No one wants another team building exercise over Slack. No one wants another online portal, application site, upload portal that they're forced to do business with unless it comes with some human context and education. No one wants yet another app on their phone where they have to monitor more digital communication. Sales professionals and the people they sell to are hungry for in-person interaction where my atoms can hug your atoms, or our atoms can at least shake hands. Very few people are hungry for more digital interaction, more social media connection, AI slop videos, AI robo-dialers, or voice text where I pass my electrons over to your electrons and then we exchange electrons back and forth, but no human connection is made. And that brings us to the final concept in our newsletter. If you, yes, you, the sales professional, sales leader, or CEO of a large sales organization, have over-indexed or solely focused on electrons instead of atoms, your business is in for a rude awakening. To build your moat, you have to focus on a little bit less tech and a little bit more on people. In a business context, a moat is simply the natural barrier or guardian around your castle, or in this example, your business. For nearly 30 years, companies in competitive sales industries and financial industries have tried to create a moat around their business model by improving their flow of electrons and investing more and more in tech. I believe that the companies that thrive over the next 10 years will be the ones who invest in improving their atoms, aka their people, up-leveling their sales teams, reinvesting in human interaction with their referral sources, and adding personalized education and context to their client-facing tech stack will be key. This will become the differentiator and the moat around their business. In the next couple of newsletters, I'll talk about how you can design this moat, but I appreciate you watching this. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Or if you want to email me at scott@scottsthoughts.com or subscribe to the newsletter on the website. We personally try to read every comment and every email that we get back, and I'm trying my best to respond to all of the emails. So hit us up. Let us know what you're liking about these newsletters, about these videos, and we'll try to curate some future content to what our audience is looking for. Thanks so much.